Welcome to the third video in this 4-part mini-series on the best weapons in Battlefield 1. Today we're tackling the support class, which, like the medic class, offers weapons that excel at pretty much all ranges. And with the weapons that are good, there are a lot that are bad as well, so let's jump right in. Starting off with close quarters engagements as per usual, we have the BAR Trench. Since the TTK shift, the LMGs have had their ADS times increased to encourage them to not be so reactionary in CQB. But the BAR Trench pretty much negates this entirely. The hipfire accuracy combined with exceptional time to kill, damage model, and rate of fire makes this weapon extremely reactionary. From 0 to 12 meters you don't really need to ADS, which totally disregards the nerfed ADS time. Although like most iron sight ADS times, the time isn't that slow for the BAR, so that's a plus in itself. The BAR Trench strictly outclasses the Madsen Trench. The BAR Storm is also a good pick as well, sacrificing the reactionary nature of the Trench variant for decreased horizontal recoil makes killing enemies at a distance much easier, especially when you combine this with the LMG negative spread increase. It's also the most popular LMG in the game, and for once, rightfully so. Like the Trench, the BAR Storm once again outclasses the Madsen Storm. The little brother of the BAR, the Madsen, has two of its variants outclassed by the BAR. However, it does have one variant that the BAR doesn't, and because of this, it makes the Madsen a compelling choice in CQB. The low weight is the only useful variant, plus you get a bipod and more ammo than the BAR. As for the LMG 0818, you can say it's pretty much a heavy BAR, but unlike the BAR, it doesn't have all the interesting qualities that the BAR offers. Though it's worse than the Parabellum in raw TTK, it offers more control at range with much lower horizontal recoil. But all things considered, I wouldn't personally use this weapon. The same thing goes for the Parabellum. Horrendous horizontal recoil, bullets to min spread, and inaccurate hipfire makes this weapon pretty much outclassed by other options. It does have the best TTK out of any LMG in CQB, but outside of extreme close range, it's worthless. At this point, just use a SMG. Up next we have borderline the most OP weapon in the game, the Huey. Fantastic hipfire accuracy, excellent ADS accuracy, good ammo count for handling a few people, and you have a weapon that can do it all. The Huey requires the least amount of bullets to reach min spread out of any LMG, plus you get a low weight variant, granting you a bipod, making this weapon even more lethal. Its only balancing factor is its relatively low time to kill compared to other LMGs, but if you keep your distance and your aim is on point, this weapon will never fail you. The Huey is almost criminally underused by the Battlefield 1 population, and if you give the weapon a chance, you can see it's the most versatile weapon in the entire game. Another interesting weapon to look at is the Shosha. Having the highest damage per bullet, the Shosha seems to be an absolute monster, right? No. A slow rate of fire, horrible spread, and a severely lacking time to kill outside of 20 meters makes the Shosha difficult to recommend. Although it is capable of single bullet tap firing, it doesn't make the best TTK out there. It's usable, but I find other LMGs able to perform much better than it. Now we move on to the longest range LMGs, the LMGs for suppressing fire and sitting on a bipod all day. We have the Browning Mgm 1917. This weapon is pretty much going to get outclassed in TTK by every weapon, with its only redeeming factor being 250 rounds and a very long overheat timer. Both variants offer a bipod, but for strictly the turret meta, I recommend the telescopic just because it makes it easier to see enemies. After all, you're just going to be sitting on a bipod all day hanging out with your scout buddies, camping far from the objective. The Browning even has bolt action tier bullet velocity, making it even better for use of a turret MG. However, if you do not own the DLCs, the best vanilla alternative to this is the M1909 Grenade Mercy Telescopic. So that about wraps up all the relevant LMGs for the support class. Other weapons or variants that I did not discuss should, for the love of God, never be used, especially suppressive and defensive variants. You sacrifice all redeeming elements of other variants for a larger magazine and a pretty bad optic. Never use it. The Perino, Lewis Gun, and MG15 are pretty much outclassed by the other LMGs. The Perino is a worse Lewis Gun, which in itself is a worse Huey, and the MG15 is basically garbage in all aspects, especially since its suppressive variant for laying down the turret meta is immediately outclassed by the Browning. And that about wraps up everything. I hope you guys enjoyed and maybe learned something new and maybe changed your mind when picking your next support gun. And as always, it's been BloodHound, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.